Hello. First of all, let me apologize. I've woke up with a sore throat. I've had two colds this summer, and I'm not happy about it. Anyway, I'm here to talk about not this tiny plastic card. I'm here to talk about baggage trains, and I'm starting to work on two different projects to that could be the baggage train. If you aren't familiar with the old world, the new match playbook, there is one objective called a baggage train, which is supposed to be like a mini diorama, which is perfect because they're actually like oh, I bet a lot of crafters will really get into this. So I'm making a baggage train. The cool thing about this is the dimensions are 60 by 100, which is exactly the same dimensions as the Noblar Scrap Launcher and the Iron Blaster and the Ogre Army. So whenever I make the baggage train, I could also repurpose it as one of those, and I could do it fairly easily. So that's what we're working on now. So the two ideas I had in mind, one was something called the Bipolar Express, which would be a train, and the other one would be Santa's Sleigh, SLAY, because, clever. Um, yeah, so first let me show you the sleigh, Santa's Sleigh. I built this out of plastic card over the weekend. Pretty easy peasy stuff, just super glue and plastic card and some plastic rods. I do have to add a little more details, maybe like a little bench here, and then I'm going to fill it up with a bunch of bags. I'm going to load it to the brim with bags. They're going to say like, one's going to say coal, one's going to say off-brand Transformers or something like that, or toys without batteries. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to make a bunch of those. So he's going to go in here. The problem is the Noblar Scrap Launcher is loaded with Noblars, and I'm out of Noblars. So the rule was with this army, I could not buy anything unless I got rid of two other units first out of my gray pile of shame. So I broke the rule. I'm no sugarcoating it. I went ahead and ordered a box of Noblars, and I'm not really. Let's face it. The saber tooth things that I got, I'm like, whatever. I haven't touched those yet. So, and I'm probably not gonna use them. So I just add to the pile of shame with that. Great. So anyway, what am I doing? So he's gonna go here, and I thought instead of a reindeer pulling it, and the scrap launcher is actually being pulled by a Rhinox, one of the Mornfang Cav, and I thought these guys are exactly the same stats as the Rhinox in terms of weapon skill, attacks, strength. So what if I made a little one of those deformed elves pulling it? I could put chains on there and that. The problem, of course, is that I don't want it to look like exactly the same pose, but that's right. And actually, I already think I'm gonna make it so he's pulling a chain over his head, and then I could just like, instead of having it this, I could just convert that and make it like an axe or something probably. So that's what this is gonna be. The other idea I had, the Bipolar Express, which is going to be a Christmas train type thing, and so I went to Dollar General where all inspiration happens. And I found this off-brand Nerf gun type thing. I already took it apart, and like this part, pretty much, in my mind, already has the makings of a train. It did have. This was attached right here. I just quickly sawed these off. They were just because they stuck out too far. Now my thought process is, now they have a lead belcher on top. If the Polar Express is the Iron Blaster, there should be a lead belcher on top, which means a cannon and an ogre. So I could mount an ogre right here. He doesn't quite fit, so I'll need to saw off this, move it up a little bit, and then I could either use one of the cannons from the lead belcher kit that I have, or I have a bunch of these type things which I could, which already look like weird cannons. Anyway, I do it either way, quite honestly, but I think I'm going to do it this way. I just like it this way. I put it there. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure there's a Rhinox that's supposed to be pulling this too, so I have to figure out what I'm going to do about that, whether it's just put like an animal in the center here. I like the fact that it's see-through, which means I could put like a flame type thing in here, and that would be kind of cool after I painted it, to make it look like it's actually burning inside and there's like a fire. yeah, so then I have to figure out how I'm going to add stuff here. I'm going to add a bunch of tubes and stuff like that for exhaust. And wheels, I ordered a bunch of wheels off Etsy, but then I saw these are actually like a pretty good size. So I might just figure out how to do something with these giant wheels and just fill it in with, put something, decide to sculpt something in there. And there's already, like, it looks more like a tractor than a train. I will be the first to admit that, but I'm not done yet either. So even if it's a tractor, that's fine. Bipolar Express, whatever, that's fine. Yeah, so that's it. And this is the first part of the project. So it's going to be, hopefully when I finish, like those are what I've been working on. I've been working on those and I'm finishing my nutcracker guys. So, gut crackers, sorry, apologies. Yeah, so anyway, I'm gonna keep going, obviously, and I will let you know, the next stage. And, it's gonna be one continuous video, so I normally would say, tell me what you think about it, but at this point, if you're talking to the video, tell me what you think. That's cool, but I'm not going to hear it. So anyway, back with part 2 in a sec. And here's a quick update on the sleigh. I decided to table the train for now. I'm going to wait a little bit on that. I don't know. I keep starting something and then I look at it and then I'm not sure. And one of the things I was noticing with this, which is going to be the scrap launcher, is that a big gorger type person would almost not really fit too well if he was crawling the way I wanted him to. So I thought, what about a polar bear? That would be kind of cool. So it's got to be a polar bear. And I just started him, so he's clearly not, but it's got to be a polar bear. Woo! And I also think I'm going to put like a Dr. Seuss type antler on there. Remember this, like Dr. Seuss put like an antler on his dog's head when he pulled the sleigh, so I think I'm going to do that. Now, it does have to have a bunch of bags. It also has to have... The Goblin scrap launcher has 7 Knoblars in it. So I could either do that or just throw an ogre back here. And but I think I'm just going to throw a bunch of toys in here still. And I'm going to throw some Knoblars on. I think it should be a scrap launcher, I think. I don't know. I don't need all 7 Knoblars on there, I guess. Do I? Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, but I really like how the sleigh is turning out so far. One thing I like about Plasticard, you can start to glue something and then sand it, and then all that sand dust sort of forms this... It almost makes it like... It doesn't really show there, but it almost closes up gaps a little bit. So, we'll see it's enough. When I prime it, I think it's going to be more of a test as to what it looks like. And I lost a bolt there, but yeah, so it's... Yeah, I like it. It's a little boxy. It does need something. It needs a little stank on there, and so I'm gonna try and sculpt some filigree for the sides for that, and then I'll fill it up, and that part will be done. And yeah, I'm gonna put a bunch of Knoblars on top. I have to give it some sort of weapon. That's where I might do something like this. Ooh. That sort of thing. Yeah. So that's where I'm at with this. Yeah, and I'll be back with another update soon. Yeah, I'll get some more work done on the polar bear so it looks like a polar bear and not this. Although an owl bear would be cool. Alright, here we go. Change my mind again. What's going on? Stop it. Alright, yeah. Polar bear. Alright, back in a bit. Check out that rubble pile, and that's after cleaning. Look at this mess. This is yeah. So anyway, back to the baggage train. A lot of baggage, just like my psychiatrist said. Am I right? All right, so here's the baggage train. Here's the polar bear. I think he's adorable, right? Mr. Bear, Barry White. Super sculpty head, green stuff body. I just have to blend it in here, and I think the fur is slightly too coarse, so I'm going to add some gesso in there to half fill in the gaps, I guess. And then he'll be ready to go for a painting. Here's the baggage train. This comes out. What? Yeah, so the problem with having it so that it comes out is that you'll see little tiny gaps in there when you look up close. Now, if I paint it black on the inside, it might not show up, but it also might. So I might just, yeah, I might spend the day working on how I can fill it up a little bit. So yeah, not the day. I might spend 10 minutes, whatever that works out to. Yeah, these guys on the side here, I may have gone overboard, but you know, I figure a sleigh would be kind of ornate for Santa. It's just green stuff. I glued it on with Elmer's glue instead of super glue. Anytime I've worked with fiddly little things like that, and I tried gluing them onto the side with super glue, they would get stuck immediately, and if it's in the wrong place, then you're out of luck. You either have to ruin it or just be happy where it is. And making it symmetrical was kind of difficult, not gonna lie. So it's pretty much symmetrical, let's just say that. Yeah, probably could be better, but yeah, I just kept adding it. First I had one on the side here, and then I was like, no, I'll keep going. So I added one here, then I added one here, and I'm like, well, I gotta add one here. Oh, now there's a space here. So anyway, looks like a Riddler mobile. All right, so yeah, the reason why I made it so this can come out, I had this idea, like instead of making a Noblar scrap launcher with a bunch of Noblars on top, I was looking at the stats, and the Iron Blaster is just way better. So at least I think it is better. So now I thought I built this thing that you can put inside. Now, if I can make it into a Noblar scrap launcher with, or I'm sorry, an Iron Blaster. There could be one ogre up here, some not balanced, so he's gonna. There we go. One slightly drunk ogre from the Christmas party here. Then I'm gonna have a little stand there, and I'll be able to have the cannon like here. I'm not sure if this is a can I'm gonna use. I like how it's just different and interesting, you know, and it also kind of looks like the bolt action thing you do on a rifle. So I don't know if that, but I also think that if it were a real cannon, all the stuff would fly out the sides here instead of pushing it forward. So it probably wouldn't send the ball very far. So I'm not sure, but I'll probably either just put like some plastic on the inside or just use something else. So we'll see. But I like that. I also like that there's a lot of stuff going on here, a lot of room there, so I can add, you know, cranks to it or whatever. I can add like we'll see. I'm probably gonna use that. I also need to add like a giant like stand right up in here to hold it. So yeah. So that's where I'm at. I will add to the rubble pile. And I will be back shortly. There he goes. He's drunk. Man down. Man down. All right. Bye.